Good afternoon, Denmark and Marsh stands out there. I'm Dylan Denmark. That is Graham Marsh on this Monday afternoon after the Super Bowl. We just got off work. We come to do a pod because we got to talk about the Super Bowl, the halftime show. Apparently, it just came down. The Alabama G League player is going to continue to be playing for Alabama. I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit later. The Super Bowl happened yesterday. I, me, I'm sure much like a lot of you were hurting this morning after drinking a couple of beers or smoking a couple of doobies. We powered through on a little sleep and we made it out alive. Graham, how was your festivities for the Super Bowl yesterday?
Oh, those our festivities were good, man. Went over to a buddy's place who you're familiar with, and a couple other guys. Um, we had a nice elite setup in there. They got like a bonus room type of thing, man cave type of thing. It's got like 4 TVs in there. So we had the Olympics on a side TV, obviously Super Bowl on the main TV, and then NFL Network with like updated stats the left TV. And then they have like a little bar to the side. You can go get some refreshments, some adult beverages. Had some food over there, chips and dip. The normal stuff. And there's another TV over there that also had the Super Bowl on in case you were turned away and couldn't watch the main screen. So vibes were high. The setup was elite. I would say the setup and the group and the vibes were much better than the football game that got played. I would say that for sure.
You didn't even have the golf tournament on before the football game.
Waste management was on before too.
Okay, yeah, I was watching most of that, and then of course, it goes to the playoff, and then I eventually watched it on my phone as the football game started. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what people were expecting. I mean, we all kind of expected it was going to be a defensive game, and like not a lot of touchdowns. Neither team is a really good offense. Both teams have very good defenses, and I kind of expected to be a low scoring game. It was ugly. I think the game had 15 punts, if I'm not wrong, but like I don't know. We kind of watched both these teams all year, and when both teams have a week off leading up before the game, you kind of don't expect for it to be a lot of points.
No, you don't, and you have you have two defensive head coaches that are elite defensive head coaches. They're young, up and coming guys that are incredibly smart. Um, Vrabel's been doing this for a minute now. Obviously, Mike McDonald he won't be anymore because of last night, but before the game yesterday was played, I would say he's pretty comfortably the most underrated coach in the NFL. I mean, Dylan, nobody's heard of this guy. Nobody knows who Mike McDonald even is. If you were to ask like a casual football fan, somebody that watches their local team on Sundays is in a couple of fantasy leagues, but they're not checking out next gen stats. They're not listening to 3 podcasts, reaction shows every Monday. They're just like a casual, regular fan of football. And you ask them to name Seattle's head coach before last night, they couldn't tell you.
No.
Which is crazy because they have been so dominant all year, and it's the second year there. But it's like I was thinking about this, Dylan. I was like, why is he so? And I don't mean this in a negative way. It's just like the facts. Like, why is he so forgettable? Like,
Because
as
he's defensive guy.
that's part of it.
I think that's the like 90% of it.
But it's also that he doesn't like. We think about so many coaches throughout the league, and it's such a polarizing job, right? Like it's the most popular league in America. There's only 32 of these jobs. They speak in front of the media all the time. There's such a big microscope on them. Most coaches have like a thing that they do. Like they have some type of personality quirk, or it's something they wear, or something they've said in the past. They've got something that makes people remember who they are, right? Like Liam Cohen, you had like the Duval thing with his presser when he opened up, right? Um, Mike McDaniel, like he's nerdy and wears glasses and whatever. Like Sean McVay was the whiz kid because he was like 3 years old when he took the Rams job. Mike Tomlin, had been with Pittsburgh for forever. John and Jim Harbaugh, they have each other. They're Harbaugh brothers. Andy Reid is Andy Reid and former linemen and cheeseburgers and the mustache. Like, all these coaches have a thing, right? But Mike Macdonald doesn't have a thing. He's normal looking. He dresses normal. He talks normal. His name is normal. And he's just a really damn good football coach. So people forget who he is, and he's still pretty new to the role. It's not like he's been there for 10 years, but you get the point. But my God, I remember not really totally being completely abreast of how good they were until Seattle came to Jacksonville and quite frankly kicked our ass up and down the field. It wasn't really much of a game. And fast forward to the Super Bowl, they kicked everybody's ass except the Rams. The Rams were the only team that made it a game. But I think, Dylan, you and I talk about this all the time throughout when we do our Gator reaction pods. We talk about this all. When you and I just talk about football in general, we're very much in alignment on this. You can have a quarterback, you can have receivers, you can have DBs, you can have a great play caller, you can have a great scheme, you can have all that. If you do not have big men up front on the offensive and defensive line that can kick people's ass, you will not win a championship. It will not happen. And the story of last night's game, no matter how you slice it, was Will Campbell and Morgan Moses and the rest of that New England offensive line got their absolute ass kicked by Seattle's front seven. And it wasn't even close. And that was the game. That was the game. Drake May was never going to recover from that. He started off kind of slow. Then he was getting killed with pressure, and it was over from opening kick.
Yeah, I mean, think of Patrick Mahomes, the couple Super Bowls where he struggled, the COVID year when they lost to Brady, and the one last year against Philly was when this offensive line wasn't able to block. I mean, football, we all talk about so many different things and matchups and all. Football's about two things, blocking and tackling.
Correct.
And whatever team can block and whatever team can tackle usually wins.
That's right.
I was going to say something about, if Mike Macdonald was an offensive guy, he would be talked about as one of the best coaches in the league. But he's a defensive guy. So he's a defensive guy, and you kind of just get lost. And the defense doesn't have any big-name players. Like, there's no T.J. Watt. There's no Myles Garrett. There's no Legion of Boone like they had 10 years ago. They're kind of like the no-name defense. And they play well collectively.
Yeah, casual fans at the water cooler today at their work, just like talking about the Super Bowl, they're not breaking down Nick Emanwari tape. They're not talking about how great Devin Witherspoon was coming off the edge, even though he was phenomenal coming off. He was killing them all game. But I totally agree. The other thing about Macdonald too is where he's a little bit different from a defensive coach perspective. Most defensive coaches, Dylan, are like super fiery, and they're up and down the sideline, and they're jumping up and down, and there's a vein popping out of their forehead all the time, and they're shoulder bumping or chest bumping guys, and they're doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Mike Macdonald is just like surgical, like he's just so like locked in on like the next thing, and he's just a killer, man. He's one of the best coaches in football. I think there's no doubt about that.
How did you place any bets yesterday?
I did. I placed 3 and I lost all 3. So 2 of them were like 5-leg parlays, so they were gonna hit anyways. They were just like individual player props and stuff. And then the other one that didn't hit, and I was upset. Jake Bobo anytime touchdown.
Well, they're like plus 2,000.
It was plus 1,200.
Okay.
It was plus 2,000 for Jake Bobo first touchdown, and plus 12 for anytime. So I just went with the anytime. And turns out until about the fourth quarter, the first touchdown bets were still alive anyways. So, but Mr. Bobo did not get into the end zone, much to the chagrin of my wallet, unfortunately. But yeah, none of my bets hit, but I kind of took 3 bets that were not very likely to hit anyways.
Yeah, I didn't do any bets, but I did that. I did this new thing. I didn't know about it until JJ told me about it. Guillotine is like a chopped fantasy football league, and there's one for the playoffs. So you draft your team before the wild card team, and it's a lot of strategy. you kind of got to base it on like, okay, I'm not going to draft a lot of guys that I think are going to lose in the wild card round. Then I'm not going to have anybody else. So you kind of got to mix some guys that you think are going to do good for that wild card weekend, but also who you think is going to win and play in the Super Bowl. Anyway, I did 4 leagues. I won 2 of them, so I won over $100. And the 2 teams that won it for me yesterday, I was playing Kenneth Walker, and he scores that late touchdown.
That'll do it.
My heart drops. I'm like, well, that was it. No money. Holding. All right, now we're back. I had all the Patriots receivers and running backs. So, nobody cares, but I got $140. I'm fucking rich right now, dude. I get back full tank of gas twice for my truck.
Try not to spend it all in one place, dude.
Yeah. So there was $1.7 billion that were bet legally on the Super Bowl. One person bet $253,000 on the coin toss, and he won. He bet it on heads. I think he won 248,000. The odds were minus 103. Let's see. This was my favorite. We read this right before we went on. A group of OnlyFans creators came together to place a major bet on the Super Bowl. The only problem was they bet the Patriots would win. Okay, first off, they bet the Patriots to cover. This person doesn't know gambling lingo. Whoever wrote this article, they bet the Patriots plus 4.5. The group attending the Circle, I don't know what that is, an exclusive social club reserved for the top creators on OnlyFans, announced that they pulled enough money together to drop $150,000 bet on the Patriots plus 4.5 at the Hard Rock. I guess it was down in Hollywood. But however, so when you go in person, they limit you to $50,000. So they're like, hey, you bet 50,000, I'll bet 50,000, someone else will bet 50,000 on plus 4.5, and none of them covered.
Damn.
So that was one of the better stories I saw. That doesn't top though what I heard today in math class, 7th grade math class, grown adults. We're just hanging out. I'm checking in, and I'm like making sure all the kids are good. That hey, you're doing the assignment. We're not playing around. Stay off our phone. Do this. This kid, like, I guess he had a flashback. He's like in the middle of doing an assignment. He's like, bro, Drake May sold me last night. And I'm like, I'm minding my business. I'm like, I'm not saying anything. He's like, bro, I had $50 on Drake May to do this. And I had $50 on this guy to do that. He's like, I had all these Patriots people to do something, and it didn't hit. I'm just sitting here thinking, I'm like, bro, where have we gone in this country where 7th graders understand gambling lingo? I mean, when I was in 7th grade, Graham, I was homeschooled only for one year. And I had to make sure I had to go to Tanner's house to make sure my homework assignment was scanned through Florida Virtual. Like, that was the big priority. Now we got these kids just gambling, and I love it. I'm here for it.
We need to start we need a law, a federal law. No gambling until you hit puberty.
Hell, that's like 11 years old for some of these kids.
Well, then more power to them. But you can't have a high voice and then gamble. That doesn't work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think
what about like permit before you can bet?
Yeah, the kid was he said he used Prize Picks. So shout out Prize Picks. I guess he used like his older brothers or I don't know, one of his parents to gamble, which I'm all here for it. I mean, I'm not against it.
Is using your older brother's gambling account the new age taking a sip from your older brother's or your parents' beer?
I guess.
Interesting.
Kinda. The thing was with the beer, it's like you drink it and it's like that moment is there and that moment is gone. Even though you shouldn't be doing it. With gambling, if you win that, I mean, dude, if you're 12 years old, bro, and you win $100, I mean, granted, $100 for us 15 years ago was a lot of money, but $100 for a 7th grader's got to be like, oh my god, Like you could have lunch money for the next 6 months.
Bro, if you're 12, you were born in 2014.
Oh yeah.
That is ridiculous.
Oh, the seniors in high school were born in like 2007, 2008.
That's crazy, bro.
Mm-hmm.
That's absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
You got people betting that weren't old enough to watch the Ravens 49ers
Super Bowl.
the Harbaugh.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they don't know nothing about nothing.
That's insane.
But,
That's
but damn it, they're gonna throw some money at it. I mean, I'm so for it, man. Like I remember we had a seniors versus faculty game last year, and I'm not good at basketball. It's whatever. I'm just out there warming up, and the football players line up like right behind our bench for the teachers, and the kids walk up. They're like, "Coach Denmark, you better not sell my parlay now." I'm like, "What's the parlay?" He's like, "I got 3 threes." I'm like, "Oh, you sold that parlay. That parlay is gone. There's no shot I'm hitting 1 3." And I got no points. But speaking of gambling, and before we can talk about some other stupid stuff, do you want to bet on who do you think or who has the best odds to win the Super Bowl next year?
the best odds.
Mm-hmm.
It's Seattle to repeat, right?
Seattle is tied plus 900.
They're tied with the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
It's a ball no right here. It's a ball no.
Yep. Then you got the Bills, the Ravens, the Packers tied with the Eagles, the Lions, the Chiefs, Chargers, Patriots, all trailed just behind them. Jags sit at plus 2,000, tied with the Broncos, Texans. So they're, what are the Jags at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. They're middle of the pack, 15, 16, which sounds about right.
We're gonna do it though. Next year's our year, brother.
I mean, window's open.
It is. That's right.
And you better hit some draft picks. And I mean, talk's gonna be about Devin Lloyd and ETN and what they're gonna do the next, however much, about a month. We're gonna have to find out.
Yeah, pretty much. March is when free agency opens, right?
Yeah. The new calendar year.
I don't think either of them are gonna be back in Jacksonville personally.
Devin Lloyd, no. ETN, I'd probably lean yes.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta think ETN's number is probably gonna be like 13 million, and they paid Diami Brown to sit the bench all year for 10 million.
Yeah.
And the money is not that big of a deal. I mean, the salary cap is going to go to like whatever it is, 305 million or 310 million. Like it's not, what is 10 million of that? 15 million of that.
Yeah. So with the cap going up, maybe I'm stupid here, but this is just my thought on it. Everyone always makes a big deal about when the cap goes up, and they're like, "Oh, the cap's going up. That means Devin Lloyd and ETN, like more money in the budget. Let's re-sign him. Like let's run it back, whatever." And I'm like, you do realize that the cap went up for all 32 teams. It didn't just go up for the Jaguars. So what that means is now if they test the market in free agency, they're going to get offered more money than they would have previously. So you're going to have to match it with more money. Like it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Like every team that's competitive is going to spend till basically the last dollar they're allocated, right? And then bad teams where you're going to run into trouble and potentially losing Lloyd or ETN, and this is always how it works for the most part, is some terrible team that has a ton of cap room. I don't know who has the most cap space, but it's typically bad teams because they're not paying good players. The Jets. The Browns will have a lot of cap space because a guy named Deshaun Watson is on the team. But you get what I'm saying. Like teams like that are going to offer a boatload of money to Travis Etienne, and the Jaguars are going to have to decide if they want to match that or not. But
Yeah, I think Devin Lloyd's gone. Someone's going to offer him the farm, and the Jags gonna be like, yeah, he's not worth it.
like,
And then that'll be that. And then they'll pick up some free agents that probably most of us have never heard of, or we're like, oh, that guy, that person. I mean, I remember working for the station last year for 1010XL, and we're talking about all these free agents, like the big name guys. We're like, oh, the Jags get this guy. They didn't get any of those guys. They got, I mean, Jordan Lewis played good, but like we didn't know who he was last year, before he signed with the Jags. Diami Brown, everybody was going goo goo gaga over him for the 3-week stretch he had where he was really good. I'm like, yeah, I don't see it. I get Gabe Davis vibes. He had a good couple week stretch, and then everybody thinks that's who you are. Turned out to be right there. But I mean, we know how this game goes. It's free agency. You're gonna have to overpay, and hopefully that your needs that you get are come in the draft.
Yes. I'm really interested what they're going to do with that a first round pick this year. This is the first time first round in a long time.
Yeah. No, I think it's the first time ever.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
But when I said that, I was like, wait, have they ever picked a first round pick?
Well, last year they got Travis Hunter, the DB. This year they get Travis Hunter, the receiver.
Yeah, fair.
So,
yeah. So I'm curious because they're going to have to play their hand a lot more. I would say, like missing that first round pick. I think the front office is going to tell us a lot about how they feel about certain positions on this football team by how they draft like second through like fourth round. Because like, yes, it is a mixture of best player available versus need. Like you don't want to draft strictly on need, but when you do feel like you're in a window where you can really take the next step and you don't have a first round pick, so that's one less pick off the table of like your premium picks, which is really round 1 through about 3 to 4. Like there's certain holes on this team that have to be filled. And they're either going to do that by overspending in free agency, like you said, or with a draft pick. I tend to believe, I know it's not a premium position, but they have to upgrade at safety. I mean, I'm sorry, but no disrespect to the man, but as long as Andrew Wingard is a starter on your football team, you're not a Super Bowl contender. You're not. I'm sorry. It's a safety. I get it. Yeah, I don't know that I want to go spend a ton of money on a free safety out there. And I know that they get Ransaw back as well, and who knows? But Ransaw was a third-round pick out of Tulane.
and he was expected to be the starter until he got hurt.
I'm not gonna put all my eggs in a Caleb Ransaw basket. You know, like you need more depth at that position. Corner, I think you're gonna be okay because you're getting Jordan Lewis and Travis Hunter back. So, and I think Monteric Brown really ascended. I still really like Jarian Jones. I actually think you have a decent room there. Who knows what they're gonna do with Newsom? I think they're gonna let Newsom go. But those four are damn good. Like I honestly really like the corner room when everyone's healthy. But safety, they got to get something, and then they'll. Assuming Lloyd does move on, they're going to need to replace that unless they really, really like Ventrell Miller. But I assume they'll want to get something else there. And then I believe that in the interior of the defensive line, they got to get something too.
Yeah, no, the interior D line's definitely got to be. I mean, it was the one thing that like everybody was talking about all season, and they didn't even address it until like mid-July when they traded for Colin Saunders and they gave away Luke Fortner to the Saints, and they can never find anything all year. Do you think the Jags win the division again next year?
Do I think the Jags win? Yes, I do. I think they're going to repeat.
Okay.
I think the Jags are. Here's the main reason why. I think C.J. Stroud is getting worse, not better. I think that the Titans. I don't really love their coaching staff. I think Dayball is a good coordinator, so I think that might help Cam Ward, but I still think they leave a lot to be desired as a team overall, and they're at least a year away still. And then I think the Colts are getting worse, not better as well. I think the Texans and Colts, I think the stock is down. And I think the Titans, the stock might be a little bit up just because they hit the reset button, but they're still a while away. So I think by default, the Jags should pretty comfortably be the favorite in the division next year.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about parity in the NFL last year. I mean, the teams are expected to win the Super Bowl. The Rams, Seahawks, Bills, Ravens, Packers, Eagles, Lions, Chiefs, Chargers. It's the same teams. And I mean, Denver, who was a 1 seed, is not in that. Houston has the best defense, not in that. Jacksonville with the best, not the best, but a really good team on both sides of the ball. The Bears just had a really good year. So we'll see. I'd lean that the Jags probably they should be the favorite to win the division. They don't have that's got AFC, NFC winner, so they don't have over unders or anything like that. You know the schedule and who they're playing, but you don't know when and what time.
Yeah.
Which them going to a 17 game season, which is eventually going to be 18 here soon. And I didn't think about this when they played the Bills. I was sitting up in the nosebleeds. That's the last time you're ever going to be in the nosebleeds for that stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're going to take away the nosebleeds for this year.
That's right. It's going to be a lower bowl.
And then they're going to be in Orlando in 27.
Mm-hmm.
That's sad.
I know. It's the end of an era. We need a new stadium, though. I think it's time. It's absolutely time. I saw like a lot of people in like some tweet. A lot of people in Nashville were like upset about like how they were doing the new stadium and everything. I don't know if that's like the general vibe. It's probably not, but I just saw like a tweet with a lot of people talking about it. Like, bro, I don't know if you've ever been to Nissan Stadium, but it is not a nice stadium. Like they needed an upgrade bad, and so does this ball club down here. So people can get mad about greedy ownership in the NFL, but the reality is a lot of these teams need the new stadium pretty desperately. If you've been to a new stadium and then you go back to a not new stadium, it is jarring.
If you go to, I remember I went to Atlanta, Mercedes-Benz, when Florida played Michigan in the Peach Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
That cathedral, and then you go to like the Swamp or the Jag Stadium. It's not even.
Yeah, I was gonna say going to that game and then following it up with like Jags Texans the next week is like, okay, like what are we doing?
Or even
a team in the same league as the Jaguars. This is their home stadium.
Like the following year, whenever the Gators played in the Orange Bowl when they played in Miami, like our seats, I sat in the end zone like pretty much right between the goalposts all the way up. I was probably 20 rows from being all the way up at the top, and I felt like I had a perfect seat. Like how you would watch like an end zone cut of like the film. I feel like that was like my view.
Yeah.
And like there's not a bad seat in the house.
Yeah.
But it was comfortable. It didn't matter because it was at night, but you had the awning, like the shade around all the fans, which is what the Jacksonville's going to get. Which I mean, it is long overdue because I mean, you know more than anybody. Those games get so blistering hot in September. Like I don't even know how it's enjoyable to even go to a game.
You gotta really, 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 really love the football team you're watching. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Like for me, like what happens with me, because I go to every game, like I get so locked in that I notice it. Like you get to the stadium, you get out of the car, and you've been in the AC in the car, like so you notice it right away, right? Like you get out of the car, and it's like a heat wave. And then walking to the stadium, you notice it because like the heat just radiates off the asphalt, and it's brutal. Once I get in the seats, it's hot as hell. But like by like the first or second drive, I just get so locked into the game that I'm not even thinking about it. And then you notice it again at halftime. At halftime, because like everyone's trying to, I don't get up and move at halftime because I know better. If I get my concessions or my food or hit the restroom or anything, I do not do it at halftime. But a lot of people do, obviously. So you got everybody getting up, getting out of the seats. So you're like, there's body heat close to people, and oh, dude, during halftime, halftime's probably the time you notice it the most. It's the worst.
Yeah, you feel like you're a cookie in the oven. You're just getting baked, and
Yep.
you just feel like if you're not wearing sunscreen, you're just getting cooked.
It's so crazy. Like I know, like with new stadiums, like making it a more like cushy experience is a big part of it. But it is wild, like thinking back to like, that era of stadium, like when all of these stadiums got built, right? Like when the Jag Stadium got built, when what is now Hard Rock Stadium, because it was like renovated on, like when the Orange Bowl got built back in the day, like all these stadiums. I mean, engineering shade in stadiums wasn't like impossible to do. Like why did none of the stadiums have shade?
Because now with corporate sponsors It used to be just about fans. Fans used to be the ones like you and I and everyone listening would be the ones that would want to go to games. Now it's not like that. And it used to be that you couldn't really get all the games on TV. Now you do. And and now with all the corporate sponsors and how much you can sell with getting a box for a company, it's more about luxury and all that. So
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where it's veered toward.
And I think part of it too is like I think the desire for home field advantage has kind of gone by the wayside a little bit. Like I think um like Florida teams would like intentionally not have shade because they knew they'd be more acclimated to the heat than a cold weather team coming in. But I'll tell you this though, Dylan. Like I went to the Jaguars Dolphins game to kick off the 2024 season last year. It's first game of the year, so it's in September in Miami. It's hot as hell, right? But to your point, that stadium has really good shade. But like every seat is pretty much covered, but the field is not. The field is not covered at all, and the teams are just baking on the sideline. I'm like, okay, like this is great that the fans are shaded, but this isn't providing any type of advantage because the players are just getting cooked on both sides. So I don't know. Interesting concept. I'm excited for the Jags having a new stadium though.
This will show you how much of a life I have. I was watching on YouTube. Was it 1981 or 82 when USC came to Florida. Florida still had the turf.
Yep.
And we're running the I formation. We're going our center every time. And they were talking about like it was 100 degrees and like how USC was going to like have to deal with it. And Florida won that game. That was one of like Florida's biggest wins ever when they beat USC because USC was like a top 10 team at the time. And I don't know, just want to throw that out there how heat used to be a big deal. Now it's really not.
Yeah.
So I was also watching Florida, Tennessee, 1994. Tennessee just ripped the turf out and put natural grass in. And Fred Taylor was a freshman. Got a couple of carries in that game. And Florida won that game, I believe.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. You have no idea what I'm talking about, do you?
No.
Yeah, that's good. All right, Graham. Appreciate the Super Bowl reaction. They're going to beat Georgia Wednesday, right? Florida?
Yes.
By 17?
Yeah. 17.
All right. I'll hold you to it.
They'll be up by about 20 the whole game, 20-25, and then some loser like Blue Cane or something will hit a 3 with no time left to cut a 20 point lead to a 17-point lead.
Yeah, one of the 7th graders probably listening. He's trying to, see if, we get an edge on,
Get the spread.
Yeah. Money, turn $50 into 150,
Right.
So.
Right.
All right, Graham. I appreciate it. And we'll talk soon.